What is going on, everybody? Non here, and I'm putting down the PowerPoint tonight, and we're gonna get back to Pokemon. And we are 7 days pre-release from Phantasmal Flames, the November Pokemon set. It is Mega Evolutions 02. Everybody's super excited about it. Has this Mega Charizard that looks really badass. So we're gonna go through what the expected value of the set, in my opinion, is going to look like. So I did this initially back in September, end of September of 2025, where the Japanese prices of these were kind of crazy. I believe this was like Monday or Tuesday after release weekend. And then I kind of ballparked where I thought the normalized pricing would be. And then I implied English. And as I've mentioned in every one of these I do, the English price on average is approximately 2 times what the Japanese price is. Now, when I say on average, there's going to be some cards that are 3 times, some cards that are at the same price as the Japanese counterpart. But net, it is roughly 2-to-1 over time. So moving to 11.7. Now, what we've seen is the Mega Charizard, the UR, which is a gold card, and the Mega Charizard EX are still holding up pretty strong. So it was $1,600 for the gold back at the end of September. It's basically cut in half, but the SAR, or the SIR in our world, it's held up quite well. I kind of expected the normalized pricing to be down a little bit at this point, and a little bit more than where they're at, but it's quite strong. Now, the Don SAR, this is way down. The Oricorio, as we all know, is in the Mega Charizard X EX Ultra Premium Collection. It is not in the regular set. So even though it is in Inferno X, it will not be in Phantasmal Flames. Mega Charizard, this is just the secret rare. $52 was 96. And then the Sharpedo and the Lopunny, $25 each. Doesn't really matter. So if we look at the implied English price, now I'm not going to double the price for these because those prices are not going to hold. There is a bunch of product coming. Now, granted, it is a wave set, so there's half in wave 1, half in wave 2. Excuse me. But I do believe that there is going to be a lot of product. Now, one of the things that people mention is this that is effectively Charizard or bust. And I think I was probably the first person to mention it back in September when I looked at the cards and kind of did the analysis here. And it does look like that's going to be the case. Now, the gold Charizard in English is probably going to settle somewhere around $1,000. Ultimately, it's probably going to be in the 700-800 range as things mature through month 2, 3, 4. But what's going to be interesting is the SIR here. Is it going to settle around 600? Is it going to settle around 400? I tend to think it's going to behave a little bit better than both the Mewtwo and Destined and the Pikachu, the butt crack Pikachu, or butt cheek Pikachu and Surgic Sparks. So both of those kind of settled right around the 400 range. They plunged a little bit below that, and then they came back and recovered. I'm going to say this is probably 600. Let's make it 550 just for ease of use here. We can adjust this real time. Now, I think the gold card probably settles at 800. But ultimately, it's going to be $1,000. I'd be shocked if the first PSA 10s aren't north of $2,500 or $3,000 because for whatever reason, people buy them. Now, the Don SAR, I believe it is a pretty playable card. It's a pretty card. I assume it's going to take a little bit of a beating, but 98. Let's adjust it down to $60. Now the Mega Charizard, the SAR is probably going to be probably going to sit in the $75 range. These two, 40. I'm just adjusting this real time. So 14.9% is effectively, this was a Destined Rivals box percent multiplier shortly after release. Call it a month after release. Surge Sparks was around the same. Mega Evolutions, I used the same multiplier for if you go up here. The initial implied box price was $298. Then on 9/27, which is shortly after the set released, it was $345, which Didn't quite get to, but now if we look at the box price or the price of the cards in the set on 11.7, use the same thing. It's about $290 of implied value in the set, and the EV for this set is absolutely through the roof. So the boxes as they sit right now are fairly undervalued. I think there is a little bit of softness in the market. I don't think it's a set per se. I think it's more the hesitancy of everybody waiting to see if there's going to be a sizable reprint in Q1. I mean, you guys all know my opinion. I've said it multiple times. You know what I believe to be true from sources that I speak to. But again, we'll see. We'll see. It's anybody's guess at this point. And the only folks that know are the folks that are at the Pokemon company, and the folks that work in the factories that create the packaging for the Pokemon company. So 11.7. So again, using the same 14.9%, based on the top cards in the set, again, it really is Charizard or bust. The rest of these cards are pretty weak. You're probably looking at an implied value of $233. Now, if you go up to Mega Evolution here, now let me change the math. So let's say 3481.08 of set value, and the box is what, 250 right now. And again, this is an absolute plunge because the second wave just hit. So you're at 7%. So say for example, everything settles in, the set's at $2,100, just hypothetically. Now we throw 7% here. I'm just going to show you what, in my view, is the worst case scenario. And it's not going to be pretty. Worst case scenario, you're getting somewhere around MSRP with this box if enough boxes get out here. Now, hold on. That didn't work. Yeah, there we go. So, $150, $160 per box is probably the floor right now. But if you're the Pokemon company and you're intent on smashing the price of these boxes and getting them down to market, as we know, we believe we know, there's a lot of packaging for booster boxes that's currently being manufactured. And if these boxes all hit the market at the same time, it's actually going to be worse than what I thought initially. So if you guys watched my semi-professional video, if that's such a thing, on Hasbro last night, and I assume most of you don't, because if you're here for Pokemon, you're probably not here for Magic, but Magic has dropped so much product on distribution, and they're going to continue to do so for the next 6 weeks because they are so short on their Q4. They're desperate. So they're going to continue to dump product. I got a call last week from one of my distributors where they're starting to discount product because they're running out of space in the warehouse. So one of the items that I talked about a couple weeks ago when I first got a little bit of intel here was the only way for Pokemon to cram the price down is they have to print enough product where distribution doesn't have space to store it and sit on it, which means stores don't have space to sit on it and store it or capital to buy it all. So ultimately, what I didn't anticipate was Magic was going to create a problem for distribution that when, they're obviously the first group to market here, if you will, dumping massive amount of products just to desperately hit their Q4 to load up the distributors' warehouses. And now Pokemon's going to pile on in February, March of next year, presumably. And distribution isn't going to have any space to put the product. So that means they're going to have to either discount Magic. At that point, the market is going to be so saturated with the shit that nobody's going to take it because it's going to be selling for less than distro cost on the Magic side. Or they're going to have to sell Pokemon, which quite honestly is probably the one product they'll be able to move. Now, they're not going to be able to sell these boxes for anywhere near market because there's only so much demand at those high prices. And if they're looking at moving hundreds of thousands of boxes in aggregate across multiple sets, there's no room at the end, if you will. So either distribution is renting a separate warehouse and they're just throwing the product, which is certainly possible, or they're moving the product and they're pushing it to stores such as myself who can buy it and sit on it and have ways to move a large amount of this stuff. So that's kind of what I foresee for the future. Again, I think it's a good set. I think if you have a decent entry point, you're probably going to be fine. This isn't a set that I would buy at $275 and sit on because there is a better chance than not that you're going to get your face ripped off. But we'll see. So anyway, guys, we just finished up our Avatar Collector Booster sale. We sold them to subs for $475 per collector box. We still have, I think I have like 20 play boxes left. They'll be gone tonight. But we sold those at $145 for Avatar. So we'll go from there. We did sell our Mega Charizard UPCs at $199, which looks like it's a pretty good price. Again, I think that's kind of the floor. I think the promos are going to be, the 2 promos alone are probably going to hold $100 worth of value. And then you have 18 packs. I mean, I don't see it going much under 200 outside of the release where everybody and their brother is just going to dump the product because they just can't help themselves. So that is going to create an opportunity for you to buy those if you are a retail buyer, to buy them on the open market for probably the best price you're going to see in a while. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. Like the channel, like the video, join the channel, join the Discord, and have a great Friday night.